How did you convince 80 teenagers to break into your principal's house at midnight? My grandfather wasn't just Westfield High's principal, he was its beating heart. He'd show up to Spirit Week in full costume, lose his voice at pep rallies, and turn senior pranks into legendary battles he somehow always won. The man literally orchestrated a midnight operation to relocate every senior desk onto the football field after they flipped his office upside down. But when we lost Grandma last spring, we lost him too. He'd become the complete opposite. No more costumes, no more jokes, and definitely no more pranks. When my classmates started buzzing about senior prank ideas in March, he shut it down immediately over the morning announcements. There will be no senior prank this year. Any student caught attempting one will not walk at graduation. This is non-negotiable. Everyone kept coming up to me in the hallways. Josh, you have to talk to him. Come on, you're his grandson. He'll listen to you. But I'd already tried. Every Sunday dinner at his empty house, I'd watch him push food around his plate in that too quiet kitchen where Grandma used to hum while cooking. He'd just grunt when I mentioned school traditions. Rules are rules, Josh, even for you. My friends were relentless though. During lunch, everyone kept begging me to come up with something. That's when I remembered this hilarious TikTok I'd seen where an entire senior class snuck into their principal's house for a sleepover, just camping out in sleeping bags until he woke up. It was wholesome, harmless, and honestly kind of sweet. I looked around the table. Guys, what if we all broke into his house for a sleepover? The planning was intricate, but everyone was committed to pulling this off perfectly. I still had a spare key from when I used to stay over as a kid, and I knew my grandfather's routine by heart. He always took his hearing aid out at night and slept like a rock until his 6 a.m. alarm. We wouldn't damage anything or steal anything. We'd just be 80 seniors with sleeping bags having the world's quietest slumber party in his living room and kitchen. I knew every creak in that house, every security light, even which windows he never locked. At midnight on April 30th, I led the entire senior class through his backyard. We moved like ninjas, carrying sleeping bags and pillows, suppressing giggles as we filed through the back door. Everyone was so careful and respectful. We laid out our sleeping bags in perfect rows, took selfies giving thumbs up, and settled in to wait for his shocked face in the morning. People were already imagining his reaction, wondering if he'd laugh, yell, or secretly be impressed. I knew him well enough to know that after the initial shock, he'd probably make us all breakfast and tell the story for years. At 2 a.m., we had finally all settled down, and most of us were already drifting off to sleep. That's when we heard it. A massive thud from upstairs, followed by something that sounded like gasping. I don't remember running upstairs, just suddenly being there. Grandpa was on the floor, barely breathing, his face the color of ash. He was clutching his chest like he was trying to hold his heart inside his body, and when our eyes met, I saw something I'd never seen before. My grandfather was terrified. "Call 911!" I screamed, my voice breaking as I dropped to my knees beside him. "Grandpa, it's me, it's Josh. You're going to be okay." The next few minutes were pure chaos. Sophie was already sobbing into the phone with emergency services. Tom, who'd been a lifeguard, had his fingers on my grandfather's pulse calling out numbers I didn't understand. Liz came flying back from the bathroom with aspirin, practically sliding across the floor because her mom had survived a heart attack last year, and she knew every second counted. Meanwhile, the rest of the senior class transformed into an emergency response team. They cleared furniture, turned on every light, propped open doors, and someone was outside ready to guide the ambulance in. My grandfather kept trying to speak but couldn't get words out, just looking at me with this expression I'll never forget, like he was apologizing for ruining our prank. I held his hand and kept talking, telling him about the sleepover, about how everyone was here because we loved him. Those 5 minutes felt like hours. When the EMTs finally burst through the door, one of them stopped to look at all of us crowded in the hallway. As they loaded my grandfather onto the stretcher, she pulled me aside. "You kids saved his life tonight," she said. "If he'd been alone, he wouldn't have made it. The first 10 minutes of a heart attack are critical. This is nothing short of a miracle." 2 weeks later at graduation, my grandfather took a podium. "This year's seniors broke my rules and organized a forbidden prank. Because they did, I'm alive." His voice cracked. The senior prank tradition is reinstated forever. The entire gymnasium erupted. Parents were crying, students were cheering, and my grandfather was really, truly smiling for the first time in a year. Later, he pulled me aside. "Your grandmother would have loved this story," he said, hugging me tight.